welcome to Cheers for 20 years, which is 20 years of the Friends of Ruwenzori Foundation. And this is not the start of our program. This is merely an announcement, and the announcement is this. We're at a fundraiser. We have a silent auction and cash and carry items out on the outside deck, where only about 15 or 20 minutes ago you were in bright sunshine and 100-degree heat. I want to let everyone know, first of all, that the temperature has started dropping and the entire patio is in shade right now. So I'd like to welcome everyone to put in their bids on the silent auction items and take advantage of the cash and carry. Those stations will be open until 5:45 and they will close at 5:45 promptly. And our program will start at 5:45 promptly. So again, enjoy the company, enjoy the food, and bid. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Can't you see I'm no good without you? Take my hands, I'll never use them. Take my arms, I want to lose them. Your goodbye left me with eyes that cry. How can I go on here without you? You took all that once was my heart. Why not take all of? Why not take all of? Why not take all of me? One more time, I want to thank so much to Chris Graham and Sarah Glass for joining me today. It's a real treat for me to sing with these wonderful guys. This is 1938. don't forget to go out and keep bidding. Now that I know the extent of it,
1-minute warning for the closing of the silent auction. If you have anything you would like to check your bids on, now is the time. And 10 minutes for the closing of the cash and carry. Thank you.
Good evening and testing, and welcome to those on the live stream.
And I'd like to let everyone know we're at the 3-minute warning to get your bids in on the silent auction. And for those who didn't notice, at the right of the silent auction are 5 planters available for cash and carry. They're succulent planters, so take a look at them. You may enjoy them. Thank you.
Good evening. Thank you, Anne. Good evening, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for coming this evening. We recognize that you have braved the October heat, which we seem to get every year. Thankfully, we knew the heat was coming, so last week I could cancel the heat lamps that I had ordered just in case we needed them. You probably know if you plan an outdoor October event in Northern California, you can get everything from rain to ski jackets to a day like today. So again, I want to thank you all for coming out in this Ugandan weather that we are experiencing for just a moment. It has been over 5 years since we have all been together in person, so it is so exciting to see all your faces again. My name is Kristen Brock. I am the Executive Director of Friends of Ruwenzori. I am the person that bombards your email boxes. So if I am the person that if you need to email back, I answer all of the emails. So before we get started, I want to share just a 30-second video with you with a special welcome.
Welcome, beloved friends and partners. We are excited to come visit and meet people.
So that was Ezra and Marjorie saying, welcome, we are so excited, we are planning on coming to visit. So our original intention for this event was that Ezra and Marjorie would be here. Thanks to visas, Ezra got his visa, but Marjorie did not. So we are hoping that we can get them here in January. There's going to be some opportunities to meet with them that you will see later in the program. This event takes a myriad of people to put together, and I'm going to do my official thank yous at the end. But there have been a really solid core group of people who have been volunteering for this organization for years, and particularly for this event. Where's Dawn? Is she in here? Okay, hiding in the back. So we did want to take a moment to recognize one of our volunteers who recently passed. Many of you know Judy Marr. But Judy just passed several months ago. Judy has been a long-term volunteer for this organization. We would not be where we are as an organization without Judy. She passed partway through the planning, and it just felt like nothing has been the same without Judy in the planning meetings moving forward. So we did just want to take a moment and thank Judy. Dawn, do you want to wave? Dawn, her daughter, is here, who steadfastly has continued volunteering for us. I won't make you cry. But for those of us who knew Judy, to know Judy is to love Judy, and as I wrote on the thing, heaven absolutely has another angel with Judy up there. We know she is watching us and cheering us on for this event this evening. So one of the exciting things is we are actually celebrating 20 years of partnership with KIDA Uganda, which is really fascinating. I meet with a lot of executive directors or volunteers in the community who are running nonprofits in Africa. And they always say, what are you doing right? Because most of them don't last very long. The average nonprofit lasts for 3 years. The average international nonprofit lasts for much less time than that. And we have been at this work for 20 years. Thank you to Gil and Karen Gleason. Karen, you want to wave? I'm sure you all know Karen. We've got Ezra, who's going to do a little quick thing about the starting of KIDA, but Karen and some people from St. John's, after hearing Ezra speak, went over there. They were absolutely astounded to watch people making bricks by hand and the vision that Ezra and Marjorie had. They saw a corner in the middle of rural Uganda and said, this area needs help. They started with an HIV clinic, and it has grown to an enormous organization serving this very rural part of Uganda. We're going next summer, God willing, so we'll talk about that in a little bit. But it's a fascinating, it's absolutely fascinating to see what they have built out of absolutely nothing, what they have built from the ground up. And this work would not be possible without Karen and Gil saying, we want to help. They started this as a family foundation, so Gleasons all wave, who were all part of this from the very early years. Bonnie and Jen, thank you for coming, for traveling. But they saw a need, and currently Friends of Ruwenzori is almost 70% of KIDA Uganda's budget. So the money that you give today actually keeps them going, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later. So I am going to have Ezra do a quick, just a little overview for you so you understand a bit more about KIDA.
I'm Reverend Canon Ezra Mande Musowozi, the founder and executive director of Kitojo Integrated Development Action, in brief, KIDA. The organization was founded in 1999 in the rural areas of Tete Sub-County, Kabarole District. It has since then grown to serve wider communities. We envision empowered people taking care of their own lives. And our mission is to enable vulnerable individuals and the communities in the Ruwenzori region to improve their quality of life through education, provision of quality and affordable health care, and support of self-help initiatives. Our programs, our main program is health. We offer both preventive and curative services. Our other program is support of orphans and vulnerable children education. Actually, we have 108 children we are supporting, right from primary to university. Our other program is support of vocational training skills to enable the vulnerable rural youths acquire skills for employment, support their lives. And another program is community-based health insurance program to help the rural communities who are low-income earners get affordable services for health care.
On behalf of the KIDA Board of Trustees, Board of Directors, staff, and the entire Ruwenzori community, I bring greetings to you all from Uganda. We thank you for walking with us the journey of empowering lives of the vulnerable community. Each dollar you sacrificially give makes a difference here, saves a life, sends an orphan to school, or enables a youth to acquire an employable skill. We thank you.
So the great thing about that video, hopefully it all just gave you a brief picture of what happens over there in Uganda. But what I love and what some of you know is that we have a relationship with these people. Oftentimes American nonprofits want to give money to something international, but it's really unique that we have relationships with each one of the people over there. I consider Marjorie, Ezra's wife, one of my dearest friends. And can't wait to get her over here. Go to the next slide for a minute. If you are a board member, would you stand up for a minute? Friends of Ruwenzori board member. So I want to thank this board. We are a small but mighty organization. We have 8 board members. I am the only staff person. I work 3/4 time. And what we get done in this organization, I find is really fascinating. A couple years ago, we went through a process of redefining our mission, and we wanted to make it really clear to the people who came to our website, who understood what we were doing. So our job is the investment. We want to invest in the healthcare and education to build economic self-reliance for rural Ugandans. So this is not an organization that just says, this is what we think you should do. If you go to the next slide really quickly. Our job is to support what they want to do. So KIDA, their vision is empowered people taking care of their own lives, and I won't read the mission to you, but they are their own Ugandan NGO. They have their own staff people. All of their staff are local Ugandans, They have their own board. They have their own strategic plan. So every once in a while, somebody will come up to me and say, have you thought about starting this program? Not my role. Our role is to support what they tell us their community needs. And that's what we have been able to do, and that's what we are able to do because of all of your support. So I want to share a quick story with you. One of the really amazing things about being in Uganda, we do a lot of walking. There's beautiful red soil, and you can walk. Ezra will walk for days. If he says you want to go for a walk, just block your clock for a couple of hours. But as we walk in Uganda, every time I have gone, when I'm with Marjorie, Marjorie knows every single child on the road, and we pass hundreds of them. She will tell me their name. She will tell me what their family situation is. She will tell me where they are on the waiting list to get into KIDA programs. She knows each child by name. She knows each family by name. When I went in 2018, which was my first trip with Friends of Ruwenzori, in the top left, this is Adolf, Stella, and Anna. Now, Marjorie knew about these kids. This is one of the schools where we have some of the orphans and vulnerable children youth. And she said, we can't serve these three yet. We really need to serve them. Their mother had left when Anna, the youngest, was 2 years old. She went off and got married to someone else. And they were living with their dad, but their dad was mentally ill. And so Adolf, who was 10 at the time, instead of studying on Saturdays, he had to go to work on Saturdays. They would come home, they had to find a way to feed themselves, so they were basically what we call child-run households. So I have stayed in touch. These kids are now part of the OVC program. And I have stayed in touch with them. In fact, I just got a letter from one of them the other day. And you can see on the right, the long one, that's Adolf now, who is moving into what we call high school. Stella, in the middle right there, is now a game warden. So she has finished school, and she is now a game warden. Anna actually became a mother, which is not ideal at Anna's age, but this is the reality of Uganda. And it's the reality of the States at times too, so let's not just say that. But Anna's baby is now several months old, and she is going to be able to go back to vocational school. So we are going to be able to support her in vocational school with the young baby. The other thing that Marjorie told me is just recently, Dad left and got married to someone else, and he has now left the home. So Adolf is the oldest. This is truly a parent-led household. These three children are fending for themselves. The only reason they can do it successfully is because we are supporting them. We are paying for school. We are paying for supplies. One of the things I always say about Marjorie, if you support a child, some of us support some kids that are outside of the KIDA program, and Marjorie will send us an invoice with every single thing she bought. I bought a piece of soap. I bought a shirt. Like every single listed out. So you can know your dollars are very well spent because Marjorie does not squander 1 shilling in Uganda. But this is just one story of one family. And this family is going to be able to move out of poverty with a mother they never knew and with a father who is no longer with them. Adolf is now, 2018, Adolf is now 16 years old and running his family. But these are the families that you support when you support Friends of Ruwenzori. All right, so I am going to pass the mic to our estimable Jim Hassler, who is going to be our MC for most of the evening.
Thank you, Kristen. So, when I made an announcement last week in church about this event, I said that a fundraiser is a friend-raiser, and if you look around you, look left, look right, look front, look back, you will see the Friends of Ruwenzori. We are the Friends of Ruwenzori. We are 70% of the budget of KIDA. And the thing that's been most interesting for me as a volunteer and board member has been watching how this has changed. When I first joined the board, we had just added retroviral drug programs for AIDS prevention and AIDS management. And that was a big step forward. Before that, it was education programs, which included a drama troupe, a dance troupe, direct education, sex education, which might be harder than you'd think in Uganda. But it was still at the very small programmatic basis. Now look around this room. This small number of people is the reason that we have a hospital. And it's the reason that there's a surgical unit staffed with medical equipment in that hospital. And it's the reason that we have a neonatal clinic and are performing something in the neighborhood of 700 deliveries a year. The numbers are really, really astounding. And I think one of the things that points this out is a sort of a list of the top 10 reasons to be empowered tonight to give. So let's start with reason number 1, which is your American dollar. 10. Okay, going 10 to 1. Number 10, the American dollar simply goes farther in Uganda. Things that we're doing for a cup of coffee today are making a meaningful difference in someone's life, not just a taste difference in the morning. So let's see number 9, which is we run education programs, and an educated child is going to be able to stop the intergenerational poverty that has taken place throughout the world, and particularly in Africa. Number 8, and this one is really amazing to me. Thanks to KIDA, in 2023, last year, 97% of the 5,018 active HIV positive clients adhered to the retroviral drug program treatment. 97%. Think about that. Those are numbers that are higher than we get with our large and involved healthcare system in the United States. And I think that speaks highly to the need, highly to the commitment of the population being served, and the impact of the dollars that we spend. Number 7, our support provides over 11,000 immunizations in the local community annually. More than 8,500 children and babies received at least one shot last year. And think about that just in dollars and cents. When we go and get our COVID shot, and I hope everyone's getting the new COVID shot, but when we go and get our COVID shot, the healthcare cost in the United States for one shot is about $125. It is not inexpensive. And we don't see it because our health plans pick up a lot of it. But in Uganda, for this relatively small program, 11,000 immunizations, 8,500 kids. It's a really, really impressive number and impressive community. Number 6, and this number, of every number that I'll mention, this is the one that gets me most. For one child, a month of health care insurance, and yes, in addition to the hospital and the surgical unit, we have a health care plan, which was a plan that is used by several NGOs in the area that was developed in part with help from Kaiser. But a month of health care insurance costs, any guesses as to what a month of health care insurance costs? It says it right behind me. You can read. Amazing. And 45 cents, think about it. 45 cents, we paid $75 a person for the tickets to get in here tonight. That $75 will do a month of health care for 150 kids in Ruwenzori, Uganda. It's just amazing. I mean, that's a big, big impact. And it's one of the reasons I like it is, you know, you give to some large organizations and you don't really know who gets the money, what the program dollars go to, what your connection is. And here we know. We know the person, we know the people on the ground. So number 4, 5, the incredible staff team at KIDA who give who get higher salaries from the government than they do in working in our hospital. They choose to work in our hospital. Right? That's their contribution. They're doing it through making a personal choice on a less affluent standard of living, but making a difference in their community. And we know those people as well. Number 4, your gifts can empower the next generation and change outcomes for this community. And it really does change outcomes. I mean, we've watched kids in the 20 years, we're celebrating 20 years tonight, we've watched kids go through the schools, turn into adults, start families. They're part of our community now. Number 3, you give directly to people that you get to know personally by name. And we actually have had Zoom calls, conference calls, where we've actually participated in their strategic planning with people who are KIDA program participants and staff. Number 2, the gratitude is unmatched. I mean, this has been a fun thing to watch, and I'm sure Kristen will head nod on this, in working with Ezra and Marjorie, is they are full of optimism and they are always full of new programs. And they know what they want to do next. And in fact, we're going to talk in the live auction tonight about one of the programs that they've got coming up, and there's a terrific opportunity on that. So keep your ears peeled on that. And number 1, it gives you joy. This is one of those things that at the end of the day you say, this is just the right thing to do. It's not a large amount of money for them. It's a big, for us, it's a big amount of money and impact in their community. And so as you give tonight and you think about your gifts, think about these 10 reasons. And we have to acknowledge an important person in the room, 2 important people, which are Karen and Gil Gleason. This is 20 years of a dream that they had. They made a visit to Uganda. They met Ezra and Marjorie and saw the work that they were doing, and they made a personal decision, a personal commitment. They found their calling to be participating in this program. And over the years, they have brought their friends, their family, their associates into this family of the Friends of Ruwenzori to make it what it is today. And so this, in many ways, a lot of these things that you see that are taking place, they really come from a small number of people who are committed to making the world a better place and delivering on their personal commitment. And just if you haven't met Karen, could you stand up for everyone? Make sure you meet Karen. When we finish our program tonight, we're going to have a cake set up at the back of the room. And that's for a couple reasons. One is checkout always gets a little slow and backed up, and it'll be a good way for us to enjoy a little friendly chit-chat, but it's a great cake. Carrot cake with cream frosting, and it is in honor of the 20th anniversary, and it is in honor of both Karen and Gil and the difference they've made in the world. So make sure you say thank you by having a delicious piece of cake with us tonight. The other thing I would like to do, I want to do a little hygiene now. I see Kristen walking behind me. Kristen and Jen Gleason are going to be conducting the Fund a Need. Now, most of you are aware the Fund a Need is where we get to bid on specific items that are used in the programs, and it's our way of making pure cash, tax-deductible contributions to the programs to keep them going. And it's a fun part of hearing what's out there, but it requires a little practice. So when you came in tonight, you should have gotten one of these, right? This is, now, when you want to bid on something, raise your paddle up. Now don't raise your paddle like you're playing ping pong and keeping it down low. We're never going to see that. Raise it high and hold it up proudly so that everyone can see it. Let's see a practice run on this. Excellent. Look at that. Everyone has a number. So remember this practice of raising the number up when you want to bid. Now, because we have a lot of items that we're bidding on, and sometimes we're bidding on multiple numbers, we're probably going to miss some people in the count. So we've also included a tally for yourself. This is called the honor system, because we are honorable friends of Ruwenzori. And please make a note of those things that you've made a commitment on, so that when you go to the checkout, you can make sure that it matches what you've wanted to do. And one last bit of hygiene. And this is the end. When the night is finished, and hopefully we've raised a lot of money for just excellent, excellent cause, people are going to get into their cars. It's going to be cooler. Everyone's going to say, ah, when they walk outside. And they're going to get in their cars. And some of you, just looking around, I don't know everyone's name here, may not have been here before. We are a roller coaster. You take the first dip in to get into the parking lot, and you don't climb back out that hill. You keep going straight and turn left and turn right down another steeper hill. Don't worry, brakes usually will do the job. And so just when you leave, remember you're going to continue out this way. So that's the little bit, that's hygiene for this evening. And with the hygiene out of the way, we can turn this back to Jen Gleason and Kristen Brock.
Thank you very much, Jim. So I often feel so grateful that I get to do this work. And there's times I feel like I could stand on a soapbox and just talk about all the amazing programs. If you were a data person and you would love the 60-page strategic end of year, my mind is lost. Yes, the annual report from KIDA, and you love all that data, and you want to know who got immunized and what shots they got and what age the children were that are in OVC and how many babies were birthed and what age they were and how many were HIV positive. Let me know. They put that out every month. I'm a data geek, so I love that, and I could stand up here and talk forever. But I know you're here about the stories. So we are going to move into Fund a Need, and I'm going to turn it over to Jen Gleason to kick us off.
Hi there. The first item that we are going to be trying to fund is 3 months' salaries for our nurses. And we will show a video here in a second, but first I just want to remind you, before you see the video, our goal, we got a generous offer of a $5,000 match from Deb Scheffler, and so we want to make sure that we get to that number. So we need 10 generous people to donate tonight for 3 months' salary for nurses. It's $500. Which sounds like a lot, but when you really think about it, a nurse here in the US would make $17,000 in 3 months. So these nurses are doing it out of love, and they sure do a lot.
My name is Juliet Casemiro. I'm an orphan. My father died when I was still young, and my mother didn't have money to pay for me school fees. And when I was in P7, I was almost dropping out from school because of money. That's when I was connected to the OVC program of KIDA, and they started paying from primary 7 until I finished schooling, and I qualified as an enrolled midwife. From there, after schooling, I came and volunteered at KIDA Hospital as enrolled midwife as a way of helping the community. That's when the opportunity came and they advertised their job. I applied and I was shortlisted. I did the interviews, I passed them. In February 2022, I was employed as enrolled midwife. I started working with KIDA Hospital.
So this is one of the many nurses that we are looking to fund their salaries. And this past year, 8,000 patients were seen. So these nurses are very busy, and we would love to get that matched amount. So if you are feeling like this is something you want to fund, this would be a great time to like cool off your arm and raise it nice and high. We're looking for 10, so that's 1. Any others? 2 and 3. Anybody else feel 4, 5, 6, 7, 3 more, 8, sorry. 2 more, are there 2 more? 9 and 10, oh my goodness. That is fantastic. I'm sure Deborah is really excited too because now she has to match the full amount. Thank you all so much for funding this great need that we have.
So one of the reasons we wanted to share that story, one of the really fascinating things that is happening at KIDA, because they've been around for 25 years, is we are now seeing the second generation of kids going through. And so Juliet started as a young child in OVC and now works at the hospital. Every time we go back, Marjorie will point out 5 or 6 kids. That one was in the OVC program and they now work for the hospital. Sam was in the OVC program and he now teaches at the school that's next door to the hospital. We are now seeing some of those. Last time I was there, one of the young women who was in the OVC program decided to sponsor her own OVC child. So she is now giving back to the community in that way. One of the really interesting things that happens in Uganda, gender-based violence is still a very dangerous situation for most young women. We also find that early marriage, early pregnancy, all of these are happening for young girls. Many of them are walking a very long distance to school and are getting harassed on the road every time. So one of the things that Marjorie does is she picks out children, or picks out young girls, we actually have young men, who we think would do well by going to boarding school. And when we send them to boarding school, we not only pay for their fees, we get them there, we pay for their mattresses, we pay for all of their uniforms, we pay for their health insurance, we pay for every single supply that they need along the way. So these girls are fully funded. We also have 8 young men. There are 20 girls and 8 young men that we are supporting in boarding school right now. We do have a very generous match this year as well. Ann Meyer has agreed to match up to $2,000, and Lori Bennett, who could not be with us, is matching up to $500. So with $2,500, if we get 10 girls going to boarding school for a semester, that match will pay for them to go for an entire year. We can always do more. As I said, we've got 20 girls and 8 young men. These are 3 of the young girls right now, Bridget, Doreen, and Maureen. They are all in boarding school right now. Marjorie sent me a letter, and when we talk about gratitude, if you have been to Uganda, and there's a handful in this room have been, you cannot walk down the road more than 5 minutes. And if Marjorie says, this is Friends of Ruwenzori, oh, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, we are so grateful. It almost becomes embarrassing how often they are thanking us. We go out to schools, thank you, thank you, thank you. So the gratitude is immense. And these 3 girls wrote a little note to just say, we cannot thank you more for getting us out of the situations we are in, for moving us into a life that we never dreamed we could have, because KIDA is paying for our boarding school. So we are going to start with $250, and let's see who would support $250. Thank you. 138, 183, 155, 87, 62, 26, 124, 14, 175, 170. I think I got them. Thank you all so very much. This truly makes a difference for these young girls in Africa.
So one quick housekeeping reminder. If you raise your paddle, please just mark it down on this yellow sheet. That's where we're really keeping track of it. So if you did not raise your paddle, you can do 2, you can do 20. You have a new pen, so I'm just suggesting you use your new pen as much as you can. Our next fund in need is the C-section. This one is really personal for me. Back in 2010, I got the privilege of going to Uganda with my mother-in-law and father-in-law and my husband and an amazing team of people. And the following year, I had my son, and I had an emergency C-section myself here in the United States. And it truly was kind of scary, but not at the same time. And it was completely covered under insurance, and it was not a big deal. I say that in quotes, which you can't see, because I have something in my hands. In Uganda, it's a really big deal. It is truly still life-threatening. And for just $100, we can save lives of not just the mother, but also the baby. And this past year, about 1/4 of the deliveries that happened were by C-section. And because of the hospital that the Friends of Ruwenzori has helped build, because of the nurses' salaries that we have been able to fund, these babies can be born and born healthy. And that is truly something to be seen. When you're there and you see how many of these cute kids are running around, in my mind, what I always hear is, Kristen talks about the thank you and the gratitude. For me, it was these high-pitched voices coming out of everywhere saying, "Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you?" And they would just pop up from everywhere, from all the time, and they just wanted to talk to us and touch our hair. We're very obsessed with our hair. I joke because this is a very sentimental part for me. So I'm going to show you this quick video about some of the other situations in Uganda.
Hello, I'm Kasemir Juliet, a midwife at KIDA Hospital. This is our postnatal ward, and these are the mothers who have delivered, and 3 of them have delivered under a cesarean section. So I'm going to talk about cesarean section as a life-saving procedure. Cesarean section, it is a procedure which is done here at KIDA Hospital, and it costs 400,000 Ugandan shillings. And the nearest theater, it is at the Fort Cotton Regional Hospital, which is almost 25 kilometers from KIDA Hospital, of which it is very far for the people around this community to reach that hospital. So many people have been referred here with many complications, obstetric complications, like antepartum hemorrhage, protracted labor, malpresentation, malpositions, among others. And they have been managed well. The mothers and the babies have been saved in this community through cesarean section. Almost 10 to 15 people have been delivered under cesarean section per month. And most of them, about 95%, have got good outcomes. Sometimes some people pay for the cesarean section. Thank you very much.
So just a reminder too, Juliet here was also a graduate of our OBC program, and she's moved on to become a midwife. I know some of it is a little bit hard to read and hear, but she is currently a midwife that is helping perform these C-sections. So for just $100, I'm asking for, we do have a match as well from Debbie Cox for up to $2,000 match. Miss Debbie here also was a midwife herself, and she was also part of the band, and she's on the board, and she has a long list of accolades. But she is generously donating a match of $2,000, so that's not very many here. So I'm thinking we should probably double that number as best we can. But anyway, for $100, how many of you would like to help pay for a C-section? Oh, that's fantastic. That is definitely matched, Miss Debbie. Thank you all so very much.
Thank you all. I think, Debbie, last time we were there, you got to do an ultrasound on one of the young mothers. So that was really, I think I have pictures of Debbie doing that. Uganda still has an incredibly high rate of malaria. Every time we visit, the hospital is full of young children with malaria and the complications that come along with that. Over 90% of the population of Uganda is still at risk for malaria. And we're still doing a lot of education, you know, put the netting on, all of that. But most of the children that come in come because of malaria or malaria complications. Every time they go to the hospital for malaria, it's $9 US, which doesn't seem like very much for a one-time treatment, but that's 3% of the annual income for someone in Uganda. And these children are in there multiple times, often just as sick as they can be when you see them in there. 22% of admissions over Uganda are due to malaria, and 11% of deaths in Uganda are due to malaria. So malaria is still a disease that is killing young people, particularly babies and young children in Uganda. This is going to be a video with Dr. Brian. Dr. Brian has been there probably 5 years from now. He looks like he's about 15 years old. I always want to give a shout out to him. He is a young single man who has chosen to work in this rural community. He still wants to get married. He still wants to have a family. Yet he is at KIDA Hospital because he knows he wants to give back to the community. So let me share with you a little story from Dr. Brian.
Hello, I'm Dr. Brian Kiza here in KIDA Hospital. At this point, we are managing 2 patients with severe malaria and severe anemia. We have a 2.5-year-old girl, but also we have a 13-year-old girl being managed for severe malaria for their own transfusion. So they came in with severe anemia, and which is one of the complications of severe malaria. And also they are being managed for pneumonia and other complications. Malaria is still a big problem in this community we are serving. In August alone, in the month of August, out of 325 patients who came in with a fever, 255 were diagnosed with malaria, and that is about 78.5%, and that's a very high prevalence rate compared to the target of only 7% of the district, of this Kabarore district. And complications of malaria in this area are many, but most important and the most common are severe anemia, we have hypoglycemia, prostration, we have acute respiratory distress, jaundice, but also we have cerebral malaria. And most children below 5 years come in with complications of convulsions. And the most at risk population is the pregnant mothers, but also we have the children below 5 years who are at risk of severe or complicated malaria. And when they come in, we do admit them, we manage whatever complications they have come in with, and then later we discharge. But most of them can die at home, sometimes on their way to the facility when they delay to come for treatment. Thank you so much.
So it's hard not to love Dr. Brian. I always want to apologize for the videos, but all that noise in the background, that's just day to day at the hospital. It's a wide open hospital room with families bringing food and children, and so the kind of chaotic sound you hear in the back is just what it is there. So you can see that malaria is still a huge issue. One of the interesting things about KIDA Hospital, and one of the things they do, is they have to go out in the community to get people to trust them. And trust them that coming to a hospital is more important than going somewhere else, going to some traditional medicine they've used. I do want to share with malaria that our lead gift tonight is my middle son, Jonathan Westbrook. He was here at, I pulled them out of the house at 9 this morning to come set up, so my 2 younger boys are somewhere laying down watching videos or something. He's a pre-med student right now and a biology major at UCSD, and he wanted to do a lead gift of $50 tonight. So who would like to support Jonathan and help children recover from malaria at KIDA Hospital? Kathleen's raising her hand. Oh, fantastic, fantastic. So just a reminder, put it in our sheet, and we cannot thank you enough because these gifts truly are saving lives, as you can see.
It's the last one. It's the most affordable one. This last one is $25 for school supplies. This is so important because in order for these children to be successful in school, they need the donated school supplies. Just for $25, it'll be a full pack of things. This young student was super excited to tell us about it.
I'm 18 years old. I'm in Form 4. I study from Nyamiruma Village Secondary School. I have spent 8 years in the OVC program. From the OVC program, we get the following school supplies: scholastic materials, pens, pencils, books, calculators, mathematics sets, among others. Personal needs, e.g. pads, knickers, shoes, among others. School fees and tuition. We are provided with the transport to and from school. All these ones, they help us to concentrate on our studies, and perform very well compared to other students who do not manage to get all the above in time. I personally am studying to be a police officer to promote the rights of the children and stop gender-based violence. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. We also have a matching gift from Lori Bennett for $500. So to get to that $500, obviously we maybe need to do a few more than one. But if you would like to donate one school or 200 school supply kits, if you will, just raise your paddle and make sure you mark it down on your yellow sheet. This concludes the Fund a Need. Thank you all for these hands up. And I'm going to pass it over to Kristen. Thank you all so very much. This is the most important, in my mind, because it's usually the part that I talk, is so important. It's a really neat way to contribute with a tax deduction and specifically contribute to something that is important to you as well, and it's an immediate need filled.
I want to give yourselves a round of applause for that. We will be able to share our totals next week. Everybody will get an email so we can see our totals. One of the things I want to encourage you to do is to make a monthly gift, to make it monthly. So my little brother, just to support me, is giving $50 a month. He's been doing it for 4 years now. He's like, I don't even miss that money. Like, I don't even know about that money. So when you go to the website, there's an opportunity to just click the box to make it monthly. I give a monthly gift. I don't even know it's gone. If it's not in my bank account, I don't know it's there. But we really want to encourage you as much as possible, especially for some of these smaller gifts, to make it monthly so we can continue this year round. All right, Jim Hassler, I am passing you off to the live auction.
Okay, so we are down to the final four. There are 4 more items that we have to offer for this evening, and I'm going to start with the one that is, well, the one that is closest to a vacation opportunity, which is Debbie Cox has offered her home in Markleyville. Now, for those people who don't know Markleyville is in this beautiful cabin. Markleyville is a town, a bustling town with one stop sign. It is north of a lot of the gold country towns of Arnold and Twain Harte, and it is south of Lake Tahoe. And it is located right near a state park that has hot springs. And the hot springs typically will have, you know, up to 60 people can fit, but not all times of the year. and not all times of the day. So it's actually a lovely, lovely location, the Sierra. It's near some local lake and river fishing. And it is fun trout fishing territory, tons of hiking trails. And if you're used to the hustle and bustle of South Lake Tahoe, this is not the hustle or bustle of South Lake Tahoe. It's quiet, it's peaceful, and serene. And look at the cabin. Look at the quality of that cabin. 1,200 square feet, 3 bedrooms. Now do your Airbnb math, because this is for a date that is 2 nights and 3 days, negotiable between May and October with Debbie. Debbie, you could raise your hand over here. And you'll remember Debbie. We want Debbie to feel good because Debbie was the $2,000 matching donor for one of the fund needs, and has been and sang her heart out, quite frankly. So what I'd like to do, and it seems crazy for me at the Airbnb, but this is what Debbie wanted to start the bidding at. Do we have any bids for $350 for a 2-night, 3-day accommodations in Markleyville at this beautiful, beautiful cabin? Do we see any bids? Any bids? Okay, wait a second. Oh, wait a second. 162. Okay, 162. Am I allowed to do this, Kristen? 133. Okay, it's well, wait a second. I have to increase the bid. So 162 at 350. I'm going to raise the bid to $400. Oh, 133 at $400. Do I hear 450? Do I hear 450? Oh, come on. It's a beautiful cabin. You cannot get 1,200 square feet in the Sierras on Airbnb for $225 a night. Do we see anyone else who's willing to go up to $450 for this beautiful cabin? Oh, come on. Someone, wait a second. 159, Susan Pierpoint, take a bow. But that's not over. Wait a second. Oh, 133 bid, $500. $500. Do I hear $575? Is anyone offer $575? This really, $250 a night, Airbnb, you cannot get them. This is a great place, a great weekend, and it's a recently constructed cabin, and can't you feel the hot springs soothing the waters after a hard day of hiking and trout fishing? Jerry, Bonnie, are you feeling like you need to have a nice hot soak back there? Okay, I'm going to do one look around the room. $500, $475. Was $475 what I was on? $500. That's what I bid. Is there $575? $575. I see a thing waving. Are you? Oh, you're not. I'm so sad. But okay. Going once, going twice. Are you sure? $575. Going, gone. 133 wins for $500. Oh, wait a second. Debbie is making a peace symbol, but I think she may actually mean 2. For the bidders that would bid at $450, would you be interested in also having a weekend at $450? Oh, nod your head. The motion is like this. Come on. Come on. A little applause for them, maybe to encourage. Come on. Is that a yes or no? No? Oh, who's the higher bidder? Oh, Susan, I'm sorry. Whoa, I'm a terrible auctioneer. Susan, would you like to have this cabin as well for $500? 2 of us, 2 separate dates. We're not going on a date. Okay, 2 at $500. Going once, going twice. Thank you. Okay, our next item is a private lunch for 4 with Ezra and Marjorie. So I'm going to take bids on this, but the final 4, the 4 highest bids are the people who will go to this lunch. So I'm going to start the bidding at $100. Do I see, okay, 128. Do I see anyone else for $100 to go to, now this is the head of KIDA, and the 2 heads of KIDA. Do I see anyone else who would like to have lunch, a private lunch with Ezra and Marjorie when they attend? 185. Okay, and back here, your number again, 130, 128 and 185. Do I see anyone else who would like to do for $100 lunch, a private lunch with Ezra and Marjorie? Okay, I am not, oh, 129, excellent, thank you. We're almost there. We've got 3, we have 1 slot left. $100. $100 barely gets you a McDonald's Happy Meal these days. And this will be more interesting than having drive-through with Ezra. So, do I see anyone else who would like to join for a second person? Oh, 4. Okay. We can stretch to 5. We'll stretch to 5. Okay. Excellent. Thank you very much. And the next item, and I'm going to do this a little out of order. The next item is we have a very interesting naming opportunity. So,
Jim, you need to help me here. What do you want? What slide do you want?
not that one. Not that one. Back. There it is, naming rights. One, I mentioned earlier that Ezra always is looking at how he can expand the programs. And they are building a vocational school in Uganda to teach people and educate them in practical trades so they will have jobs and can be a more successful contributor in their community. And we have the opportunity to put your name on that building. So that could be the Ann Squires Vocational School. It could be the Jerry and Bonnie Moran. It could be the Alan and Bonnie Howe Vocational School in perpetuity in Uganda. It's your name for the vocational center. Oh, liar, liar. In perpetuity says for 1 year. Where is Kristen when I need her? So this is a real opportunity to have your name in the community. And I'm going to open the bidding for this at $750. Do I see a bid for $750? I am not seeing any bids. People seem to be getting, oh, okay, I'm going to do something a little different. How would people feel if we had 2 names on the building for $400 for each name? If I can get 2 for $400 or 1 for $750, do I see anyone who is willing to make that name contribution? Okay. I am going to say going once. Going once, going twice. And, oh, wait a second. I have one other message for us. So I have to go back, which is we have one other party. And it's a party at Ann Meyer's house. There we go. So Ann Meyer is also hosting a dinner for Ezra and Marjorie when they come into town. And it's going to be at her beautiful Broadway Terrace home. Well, it's not actually Broadway Terrace, but it's in that area, and it's gorgeous. It is a new construction, the most terrific bay views, a beautiful dining room, a wonderful hostess, a cat named Lentil, and Ezra and Marjorie is the guest of honors. And up to 8 people can also join for $100 to join that dinner. Can I see that the people who would like to join that dinner? And I'm going to start, I see 133 is up there. $100, dinner with Ann Meyer, Marjorie. 174, Susie Tyndall. 185, Debbie Cox. Anyone else who would like to, 159, Susan Pierpoint. How nice, we're getting there. Anyone else who would like to join? It would be a fun evening. We always have a good time. Oh, wait a second. Karen, 123. Bonnie, is that for 1 or 2? 2 for Bonnie, 155. I'm not counting. Ann, are you counting? Okay, we'll continue the count. We've got 2 there. I think we're actually up around 7. Are there anyone else who would like to join for that? Okay, Tim Hart, 132. Excellent, thank you. So we're getting near checkout. There's surprise music that comes after I finish talking, I think. And the one thing I want to talk about is math class. So on your sheet, where you're marked down what fund-to-need items you wanted, if you put 1 times 250 would be $250. But if you feel moved and you want to put 2 times 250 is $500, 3 times 250 is $750, and so 50. As you have a little bit of cake, consider whether you would like to practice your own math skills in line for the checkout tonight. And I want to thank everyone. I mean, really, we make such a difference to this organization. And I want to thank Kristen and Jen Gleason. I want to thank everyone who has put in the matching gifts, the board, but in particular, just because they're not like regular people in that they actually found a call and made it happen. Karen and Gil Gleason. So thank you.
Okay, we have tested Kathleen's acuity here. I'm going to do a couple of quick thank yous, but I want to thank Kathleen. Kathleen was here. She doesn't want to be thanked, but she was here at 10:30 this morning with all of us, and then spent about 2.5 hours making sure this program worked. Kathleen, I can't thank you enough, honestly. It's always the tech, right? Okay, go ahead and go to the 2 more now.
Should I show this video?
Nah. Okay, so first of all, I just want to thank our board members. Again, our board members do an incredible amount of work for an organization of our size. I am so grateful for each and every one of you and the time you spend. You give time, you give your talents, and you give your treasures. I cannot thank you enough. We have a group here on the right-hand side. All of these people in some way volunteered for this event. Starting months ago, they began with their work all the way through. We will be here tonight until everything is cleared up. So I want to thank that group. I also want to thank all of our auction donors. So if you want a silent auction item, we had multiple organizations donate. We had multiple people donate money and goods. So please, if you can utilize any of these people's services, please do. They all gave generously out of their hearts and their businesses. And I want to especially thank Michelle. Michelle, will you raise your hand? So Michelle is a board member who put the silent auction together with a great amount of help from Joyce. Where's Joyce? Joyce, thank you. If you guys have ever put on an event before, the silent auction is a nightmare. So gathering the gifts, putting them together, pricing things. So I cannot thank you both enough. The weight you took off my plate by doing this auction was unbelievable. So when you go to checkout, all the bid sheets are at checkout tables. So just say, I think I might have won a silent auction, and we will make sure that we add that to your thing. Your thing? That's professional. Okay, so very quickly, we have a special thank you from Uganda. This is a volume up one.
Thank you for supporting KIDA's mission of empowering lives of the rural communities in the Ruwenzori region.
So a very Ugandan thank you. A couple announcements before we leave. We do have our annual, twice a year, silent auction, Flo and Jim. Again, Flo and Jim every year go collect wine for us. They put it all in different flights. They price it all. It's an amazing auction if you need wine for the holidays. So that'll be November 8th through November 17th. And the second thing that we are really excited about is we are hoping to go back to Uganda this summer. So after all these years of COVID, we are hoping to get Marjorie and Ezra here. The plan is probably very early next year, and sometime July-ish, we will go back to Uganda. If you are at all interested in getting information about that trip, at the checkout, there's just a piece of paper. You can put your name and your email, and I'll make sure you are in the loop on how that trip progresses. We typically go for about 2.5 weeks. It's just an amazing opportunity. I think everybody who has gone and come back, you will never not support an organization like this once you have been there to see that. All right, so checkout is the same place you checked in. We wanted to make it as easy as possible, so some of you don't even want to go to the checkout stand because it's just too much. So you can text the word cheers. That will take you right to a website where you can just add up your total and put your total in. Please make sure if you do that, still leave your yellow bid sheet at the back table because we need that for our back end. Pardon me? Oh, you can write a check to Friends of Ruwenzori. We've got a square if you want to use your credit or debit cards. We have PayPal, and if you are a QR code fancier, you can just put that on the QR code and it'll go right to the donations page. So I just want to thank you all very much for coming. This work is a gift of love, but I also, again, I'm constantly grateful that I get to do this work. And it's because of all of you that I get to do this work. This work does not happen with all of you. So thank you. It is much cooler outside. You will be very happy when you walk outside. Drive safely, and we will see you next year. Also, Hazel Brown, you will hear the stylings of Hazel Brown on the piano as we go out this evening. So thank you, Hazel.